people need, and she's starting to build herself up. Now, then she makes the move to Pittsburgh, um, which is interesting. Now, at this time, and I mean, still to this day, Pittsburgh is a manufacturing place, and so is Indianapolis. Denver was not. I don't know how she felt about St. Louis. I don't know if culturally she felt as home there. Definitely the things I've read imply that she did not. So, moving to a place like Pittsburgh, which at the time is more north, perhaps was a better, cultural community for her, to where she could train people, or perhaps there was a large group of people who were underserved that she was looking to train. So she goes there to start her training programs, and to start getting agents. And then she moves to Indianapolis to establish her manufacturing company. Again, she did not say, okay, I'm in St. Louis, I'm just going to keep doing everything. And saying, like, no matter what, she kept on saying, okay, I'm going to move to the next level, next level. And one thing I didn't mention before was that her daughter, the one that she had when she was younger, she gave her control of different aspects of the business. And her daughter was the person who told her to move into Harlem, her business. Now, her business didn't move there, but as far as, penetrating that market. So she stayed in Indianapolis, but she would have offshoot areas where there were large African American communities. And she also listened, which is helpful. So at a point, you get, at a distance, you get a little older. And a lot of the people that I'm seeing their success, they choose family members to run things for them, which seems to be a lot better than just having just any one old person do that. They're going to look out for you, and their youth is very important as well, because when she's asking her daughter, who is running this, like, what should we be doing, she's going to be able to tell her what the changes are that maybe she didn't know about. So this was another thing that was very smart, business-wise, for her to do. And she also just kept growing at stages. So she would see the stage that she needed to go into, and she would move at that point. So she didn't get ahead of herself. At no point from her business success is she getting ahead of herself. At the moment when it's time for her to have her factory and her hair salon, her beauty school, then she goes into overdrive, which is awesome. So at that point, she just starts managing as much as she can, or building out agents as fast as she can, training people as fast as she can, because at this point she has the system down. And much like with Mary Kay Ash, that we went over, that she considered her salespeople daughters, there is a ton in the history of Madam C.J. Walker that she saw her business not just as a business for her, but to empower women like her, other African American women, women in general, to succeed. So she saw it as a goal bigger than just making money, so that really shines out in both of these examples, because she was very passionate, and not just from a female empowerment, but from a civil rights standpoint as well. She looked at it as a way to empower. So it's a shame that she passed away at a pretty young age. It's interesting, to think about what she could have established as, civil rights got better. I mean, we're seriously talking about the 1920s. Like, things were still what would be considered today awful. There were still race riots in the United States in this time. There was still lynching in the United States at this time, common. So we're talking about a very difficult environment for someone to grow in. So you just wonder if you would take in Madam C.J. Walker and put her into the 1950s, what she, in 1960s would have been much better, but what she could have accomplished, and if she could have accomplished a similar feat as what Mary Kay ended up doing with those same chances and opportunities. So certainly we learn a lot. Now, I always like to go over quotes as well, because I find quotes are inspirational, and they really tell you a lot about how the person was thinking at their own time. Now, one quote from her is, "I had to make my own living and my own opportunities, but I made it. Don't sit down and wait for the opportunities to come. Get up and make them." So what she's saying is, don't sit down and wait for the opportunities to come. Get up and make them. So you can imagine coming from the situation that she did in the deep South, moving from Louisiana to Mississippi, and not just, the racial aspects of that, but the deep poverty that, she likely was in, or at least, a situation that we would consider to be awful. And she looked out and she did not see more poverty. She saw opportunity. And, that's an important lesson to think about, that when you look at your own circumstances right now and things are dire, are you looking at them as possibilities, or are you looking at as things are just going to get worse? If she had looked at the opportunity, and there is no dishonor in any career, job at all, but if you looked at the opportunities of where she started, she could have just said, "This is good enough." And her next quote is very good. She states, "I am a woman who came from the cotton fields of the South. From there, I was promoted to the wash tub. From there, I was promoted to the cook kitchen. And from there, I promoted myself into the business of manufacturing hair goods and preparations. I have built my own factory on my own ground." Now, what's really interesting, one big part of that is I promoted myself. And I wish that could be said 100 times, or I could say it a lot louder. It's a great part of this, because she's saying here, the world was not going to promote her. There was no one who was going to say, "Oh, look, Madam C.J. Walker, come on in, come in. We want you at the head of the table." And what did she do? She promoted herself. And that's a huge lesson. And especially in this age where, especially, with social media, dominating so much, and you looking and saying, okay, well, this person has 1 million followers. How can I get there? I'm nothing. And you have to look at it and you say, I'm going to promote myself. And it's not just like promotion, like, oh, I want to make more money. It's, promotion like, I have to promote myself to let everyone know that I have value. And the bigger I get. And what's also great is that she took that and she says, I'm going to promote myself. And then she's going to bring everyone else up with her. So she had a greater purpose for that. And then the other part of the quote that I really love is, I have built my own factory on, and this is my own ground. Her own ground. Like, so she, like when somebody says, I'm going to stand my ground and this is mine, what she's saying is that I did it, like Frank Sinatra said, I did it my way. And I stood there and I let people come to me. I showed that it could be done, and I built it on my own ground. And again, she moved to where she felt most comfortable that she could have that ground. She did not stay in the same place. And I think that was very important. And another quote from her is, I got my start by giving myself a start. Again, more of the, empowerment that she had to start. There was a quote, I believe, a few icons ago, Zig Ziglar, he was talking, about you can't, if you don't start, you can't succeed, that kind of thing. That's what she's saying too. She gave herself a start. Like, her own motivation was what built her business. And to become a millionaire, in the 1920s or the teens, as an African American woman in the United States, someone would have said that would be impossible. But she didn't feel it was impossible. And she believed in other people like herself. Like, she believed in herself, and she knew herself, and she knew her market, because she was her market. And then another quote from her is, "I am not ashamed of my past. I am not ashamed of my humble beginning." No one looks at where people start. They look at where they end up. And, she should not have been ashamed by her past. Much of her past was not her doing. If you come into a bad situation, that's not your fault. And therefore, she shouldn't be ashamed. But she did come from a humble place, and she built herself up. So, stating that you should not be ashamed of your past is a great for motivation. It is, your past is your past. That's why it's the past. And it's up to you to build, your future. And then lastly, she said, "If I have accomplished, anything in life, it is because I have been willing to work hard." And I end with that because, as I mentioned, and I've mentioned in many parts of the podcast, the OnlyFans system benefits those who work hard. It benefits those who are willing to go the extra mile and promote themselves and to do more. And that, that is a great thing. So she's stating right here that she accomplished everything because she was willing to work hard. Now, there are a lot of people who work hard, and I will say this, from a lot of different books that I've read, it's not always just about working hard. It's about working hard and working smart. So, add smart to work hard, because there are a lot of people who work hard in the wrong direction. So there's a lot of people who dig a hole to nowhere, and there's other people who dig a hole, and find treasure. You know what I mean? So there's working hard. It's hard to dig a hole. And you'll, sit there and dig it. So you want to go ahead and make sure to add smart to your working hard. But you can't work smart and hard if you're not also willing to work hard. Okay, so that was OnlyFans Secure the Bag Icons, Madam C.J. Walker. Truly inspiring. And again, my name is Richard Lewis. I am the founder of OnlyFans Hero and the Learn OnlyFans Marketing 101 course on Udemy. You can find this podcast on Instagram at OnlyFans Secrets Podcast. You can also find us on Reddit at r/OnlyFans Secrets, a marketing community on Reddit, as well as on OnlyFans itself at onlyfans.com/OnlyFans Hero. Please subscribe and follow us for free on there for the latest updates on this podcast. We're also on TikTok at OF Secrets Podcast, as well as always being on Twitter and at OnlyFans Hero. So please jump on our Twitter, where we run hourly free promotion for OnlyFans creators. And we continue to grow by 500 followers a day, every day, both creators and subscribers. So please jump on there. And as always, feel free to reach out to me at OnlyFans Hero. If you have any questions, if you have any questions for our Sunday Secrets episode, please ask me on there or on OnlyFans. Or if you just have any questions in general about OnlyFans, feel free to hit me up on Twitter at OnlyFans Hero. And as always, if you have an opportunity to leave a review for this podcast, please do so. It means a lot to me. I love seeing those.